Hey, it's Brock here with Uncommon Aquatics, and it's time for a major upgrade to the filtration on my 220 gallon. Now, when I got this aquarium, I knew it was going to require a ton of filtration. I've got some large, messy fish in here. Now, actually, most of these fish are currently between 3 inches and 6 inches, but they will get huge, and they are messy eaters. Especially this albino Oscar. When he eats, he overeats and he stuffs more food in his mouth than he can even chew, and he spits it out his gills and shreds it. So this size of aquarium with this type of fish requires overfiltration in my mind. So when I got the tank, I got a Fluval FX6 for it. And the FX6 is rated for 250 gallons. This is 210 gallons. Seems like that would work, right? But if you're into aquarium keeping, most of us try to double filter. Now, if this tank was heavily planted and I had it full of rainbow fish and mollies and tetras, I might say that the FX6 was fine. But the way this tank is stocked tells me I need more filtration. So what did I go with? The Fluval FX6 with an inline UV filter. And this UV filter is something I've never really used before, but I have one on my pond, and it makes a huge difference on the pond. So I'm excited to see how that works in the aquarium. Why the Fluval FX6? The answer is, in my opinion, this is the Cadillac, the Rolls-Royce, the absolute best of aquarium filtration without stepping up to a sump. And I'm not set up for a sump here. I want to use canister filters. So with the tank I have, I decided to go with the best. And what I'm going to run on it is the FX6 and the FX6. So I'm going to get this opened up. I'm going to show you how I'm going to seed it with beneficial bacteria so that it starts to do its work right away. Typically, if you put a new filter on, it will do mechanical filtration from day one, but it takes 30 days for it to really do biological filtration. So we want this to do full filtration on day one. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Then once the filter is set up, we'll set up this inline system. Very quickly, I'll have this up and running, but it'll take a while to see the result. So the end of this video won't be recorded today, so we can really see the difference it makes. And while I'm at it, let's get a close-up on the aquarium the way it is now. You can see there's suspended particles in here, and the water has just a little bit of yellowing. You know, I still enjoy looking at this tank, but it's not as clean as it could be, and there's some hair algae growing on this sword plant. So when I say that Fluval makes the best filters, it's the quality of components that make the difference. Just like these latch points, the way your hoses connect, the way that these push on, how heavy built this whole mechanism is compared to the competitors that I've used. I just think Fluval is the best. Now, I've got the FX2 and the FX4 already running. The FX2 is on my 125 gallon. And the first thing I'll say about the FX6 is this thing is enormous. I didn't notice as much difference going from the 2 to the 4, but the 6 is just huge. And you get 3 rings in it. It's just the diameter and everything. That's like a 5-gallon bucket at least. Let's go ahead and check and see what they've got in here. We've got a sponge on the top. I assume this is going to be very similar to the other Fluval filters. They send you a bag to put your charcoal in, but I've got a bag of charcoal from another filter that I never used. I'm going to put that in the bottom. Now, I've done other videos where I talk about the different options for media to put in here, and sometimes I will remove some of what they send you and put in my own media, but in this case, I'm going to start off with exactly how they send it. So it's important that you unstack this and get the media out of the bag, and then stack it back up and put it back together. I actually saw one review where someone said they didn't know that and they left the media in the bag, where obviously it won't work. Besides the basic quality of components, the next thing I think is a huge selling feature for these Fluval filters is the auto priming pump. If you've ever had to prime a pump before, you know that you'd rather not have to. And with these, as long as you fill it at least halfway with water, it tells you exactly how much, but basically if you fill it halfway with water and then plug it in, it will prime itself. And I usually just fill it all the way with water to be safe, rather than trying to remember exactly how much to use. They've also got this built-in water change system, so if you need to drain your aquarium, you can connect a hose right here. You just open this valve and start draining your aquarium. You can refill it with this too. Personally, I don't. I refill it with a Python to my sink, but you can do the same thing to this valve right here, and they've got a built-in water change system. I think that's pretty cool. So now, before I go any further, I'm going to seed this with bacteria so that it's doing its job from day one. So this is not professional advice. It's just what makes sense to me. So I'm going to take my filter here, my FX4, put it above the FX2, and it's time to clean this filter out. So I'm going to do my maintenance on that filter right now. And I'm going to start off by draining this filter into the other filter. Okay, so here you can see my dirty sponge. That is going to be how I clean out this filter today. Because we don't want this filter to be scrubbed free of beneficial bacteria. That beneficial bacteria does all the work in your aquarium. We need to keep all that. We just want to open it up so more water flows through the sponge. I can already hear there's going to be people who think what I'm doing right now is blasphemous, but I'm just telling you with complete confidence that this is beneficial to this new filter. Now I'm going to take and pour half of this filter water from the FX4 into the FX6. I'm going to put the FX4 back together. I'm going to siphon a little bit of tank water in to finish filling these. Then I'll put them both behind the aquarium and we'll get our hoses set up for the new filter. This is my first time installing one of these UV units. Turns out it's super simple. There are several ways you can do it. You can get another piece of hose, you can mount this on the wall and have it fixed, or you can put it directly onto the power head. If you're going to put it onto the power head, you just take your normal hose, that is your out hose, and you put that onto the side of this that has the power cord. And then you connect the other side with this elbow. You put your elbow on here, you put the other side of the elbow on here, and we're just going to connect it like this and our outfeed hose here. And then we can still disconnect our hose all in one movement like this. So it's really very simple. You're just adding this into your line and then it's going to run that UV light and clarify your water. So very simple install. I'm going to hook this up and let it run. And we'll come back in 24 hours, 48 hours, however long it takes, and see if it's finally, for the first time, cleared this aquarium up. So I've waited about 36 hours to give that filter some time to clear up the water. And otherwise I've been doing everything else the same, including my crazy overfeeding. Ever since I set this aquarium up with that really dirty pool filter sand, it's never cleared up, no matter what I did. Whether I took breaks from feeding or did extra water changes. But running it with the double filtration has really made a big difference. And it's never been, the water's always tested good. I haven't had any problems with ammonia or nitrites. And the fish are healthy. But for the first time, it actually looks clear. And I think the longer I run it, the better it's going to look. I absolutely love the Fluval filters. The FX line that I have, the FX2, FX4, and FX6, all do a great job, and the build quality is fantastic. This FX6 is rated for a 400-gallon aquarium, pumping over 900 gallons per hour. So really impressive numbers. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.